Ryan, opening on April 18th is a movie that I saw at Sundance in the
Yeah.
midnight program. For the second year in a row, I wound up with Val actually at a horror movie, and she doesn't like horror. Last year, it was In a Violent Nature, which was rather divisive amongst horror fans. This year, it is a new fairy tale, The Ugly Stepsister, which means, of course, that it's Cinderella.
Sort of.
So, well, no, it's the
Mostly. Yeah,
Cinderella
I guess.
story. It's the Cinderella story
From a different perspective.
from a different perspective. That of the ugly stepsister Elvira. Um, I I loved this movie for so many reasons. Uh, Not the least of which is that I got my dark movie. I got my dark movie with a dark
Yes.
ending for our protagonist. And I don't know that anybody actually won or lost in this movie, but that we'll discuss that as we go.
I think maybe one person did.
Well, yeah, Elvira probably. Um, Look, okay, you like horror. We
Yeah.
like a lot of the same horror. Did you like this, and why or why not?
Generally, yeah. Yeah, I did like it. It is definitely goes back to the source material. Um, it didn't go in places where I kind of expected it to, which is fine, and maybe that's even good. It was a little. I expected it to stray a little bit more than it did. I think there
Okay.
seemed to be. I thought the ending would be different, but then I realized that they were going to do kind of the original version, or at least one of the versions of the story that is incredibly dark.
Yep.
There's a lot of body horror in this.
Yep.
Um, uh, yeah, generally speaking, I thought it was pretty demented, and which is
In the
which
best
is
way.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of what it wanted to be, what it needed to be. Um, I think it was a little too graphic in a couple moments. There's the scene out with the horses that I was kind of, oh well, okay. Um, but other than that, I mean, like I said, it's a cringe film, not in the it's like, oh, this is so bad, I'm cringing. It's literally you're so uncomfortable that you're cringing, and
Yeah.
uh, uh,
It's look away cringe.
yes, um, which I think it wanted to be. I think that's I mean, I think this is one of those films again where you look at it and say they made the film they wanted to make, and again, that's not an easy thing to do. Um, but they made it, and I guess it's kind of strange because you have a hard time rooting for anyone in this film.
It's true.
Um,
Even the ostensible heroine named
yes,
Cinderella.
yes, and the prince is not exactly what the propaganda says he is, and
No, he's not very laudable. He's not
you
a very
know.
he's not a very nice man either. Um,
So yeah, it's it's
I
it's it's a generally unpleasant horror film, which is more of a compliment than maybe it sounds.
yeah, I love the fact that it is so period. And
Yes,
period is a weird word when we're talking about a fairy tale.
yeah,
Um, but I think the design of this, the production design of this is incredible. From the costumes to the sets to
yeah,
the sound. It's subtitled,
yes,
which okay, just deal with it, people. Trust me. Um, I thought the performances were really good. I thought the motivations were good. I thought the body cringe stuff. I mean, let's just say it, nose,
yeah,
feet,
yes,
and weight.
yeah,
Awesome. It's like if you want, this is like mainstream Cronenberg. Cronenberg tends to go a little fancy body horror or fantastic body horror, I should say.
mm,
And this is all like
sort
just
of
straight
realistic.
up
Yeah,
body. Yeah, just kind of like straight up what can you do to a human body in a kind of real way?
Yeah.
And that makes it even more disturbing. Um, I mean, the best horror is always rooted in human behavior. And
Yeah.
this movie's full of human behavior, which is just outstanding. Um, it's funny, IMDb doesn't currently show a rating, but you know it's going to be hard R. It might be
Oh,
unrated.
yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I don't
It's
know.
one of the two.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if it's rated, what it's rated when it hits theaters, because they say they're putting it in theaters.
Yeah, my well, and this goes back to what Terrifier has done, because Terrifier 3 was unrated, and typically in the past that would have kept you out of a lot of theaters, but Terrifier obviously played in a lot of mainstream theaters, so I think the rating kind of maybe doesn't matter. Maybe that was evidence that you can release a film as unrated. I don't know how wide this one's going
Now,
to go, but
yeah, well, here's an interesting thing that just occurred to me. Is it possible that the pandemic and its lack of theatrical releases, or its limited theatrical
mhm,
releases by mainstream studios, has driven theaters to the point where they will play things that they
yeah.
know people will come to see?
Oh, absolutely. No, I think the pandemic changed the film industry in a lot of ways, and one of those ways is that you'll now have films that would not have had any sort of real theatrical runs getting theatrical runs.
But
Um,
now, I mean, they're reaching, Terrifier 2 and 3, Ugly
yeah,
Stepsister. These are movies that 2019, they don't see anything but an art house,
correct.
if
Yeah,
that.
and
Wouldn't
Terrifier
even get to an
probably,
art house.
yeah, it would have been more of like a Fandango special engagement sort of thing.
Right.
So,
So,
um,
but
yeah,
now it's like theaters want people in theaters.
yeah,
And if people are going to pay money to come see Terrifier 3 or Ugly Stepsister or movies like that, ratings or not, theaters are a business. Hollywood's been telling us that filmmaking is a business forever.
yeah,
So is owning a theater. Um, so I wonder. I'd be interested. Boy, that would have been an interesting question to ask theater owners at CinemaCon.
yeah.
Does that affect your decision making? Did it affect your decision making? Because you can assume it did, but I'm just kind of wondering if they're just like, yeah, you know what? If we get the buzz that people want to see it, we're going to put it in theater.
Well, and I think they can take risks now that they didn't. And this is new because the digital. So this isn't as new as the pandemic, but they're able to um, kind of add or remove screenings for particular films and whatnot, which is with Minecraft, they were adding theaters,
Yes,
taking which means you're reducing uh,
other
other
theaters.
yeah, but yeah, I think there's a flexibility there that wasn't there in the past, and also a new kind of mentality of offering a variety of screenings.
Right.
Even if it only gets one or two screenings a day, um, the landscape is radically changed.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you get a film like this, which I don't think I've seen any headlines that say this is bad.
No,
So
I think I think
I think in the
yeah.
community,
No, I think a lot of horror fans will really like it. I think because it is foreign and has subtitles, that might be a little off-putting to some people, but not everyone, because I think a lot of young people now are growing up with anime,
yeah,
and a lot of anime fans prefer the original version to the dub version.
yep, sub not dub.
Um, I think culturally, yeah, there has been a shift, and it would be interesting to see if this maybe makes a little more than it might have. And this will end up on Shutter eventually.
Yes. Yes, it
as
will.
well. So, it's an interesting time for movies. Again, horror films are not that this falls into that, because I think this one actually looks like it was had some money behind it. But horror films tend to be easier to make for less money than a lot of other films. For I don't know what reason that is exactly, because a lot of them
Yeah.
involve I don't, but it's special effects and things. But I don't know. Yeah, and this was a well made experience. Yeah.
Yeah, this be interesting to see what kind of bellwether this is in terms of box office acceptability.
Yeah. And I
For
don't,
horror.
and I don't know if it's going to open wide or if it's only going to play, art houses or whatnot. But
Oh, this would be awesome. I mean, again, I saw it not on a big screen
yeah,
at Sundance, but it was a big screen. It was a theater screen. It's impressive. Like I said, just because there's a lot of exterior shots and the production design
hmm
is so nice and stuff, it
yeah, it
looks
is.
really good.
Yeah, it does.
It's not like some dark slasher movie where you can't see anything anyway.
No, no, no,
So it's
no. And in fact, some of the horror. I don't. Yeah, this is. It's a. It's. Yeah, this is terrifying in a different way. Ugh.
yeah. I
Because
mean,
it's not like there's a killer running loose or whatnot. Well, there
no,
sort of is.
it's
There
how
sort
how
of is a killer running loose,
how
but
far would you go to get what you want
yeah,
if what you wanted necessitated you doing certain things
yeah,
to yourself,
hmm
not to others, to yourself.
yeah,
But again, there's all kinds of subtext you can get into about, appearance-based culture and whatnot, and how it affects women more than men, yada yada yada.
yeah,
All that's legit, but it's tied up in this really crazy film. Um, that, like I said, I'm genuinely interested to see how many screens it opens on April 18th,
yeah,
and what kind of money it makes per screen,
mm.
because that will affect whether they add screens or not.
Yeah. I don't.
Um,
Yeah, I don't. And I don't know what the buzz is really.
yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. I haven't had a chance to look it up because, again, I try not to, even though I've seen this one.
Yeah,
But uh, but its hours, its screenings will be limited by time of day. So it won't show till after 7. So at
yeah,
best, this movie's going to get in 2 to 3 screenings a day
yeah,
at any one theater. So it will be interesting to see. I said I'll be interesting to see that first week, the per screen average, because that will kind of influence what we get going forward. But The Ugly Stepsister, man, I loved it. I loved this one more than I loved In a Violent Nature last year.
yeah,
I really did like that one. I loved what they did in that movie. This one is very straightforward in terms of its concept, but it just takes the execution to 11,
yeah,
and that's awesome. So that's really why I enjoyed it, and it's really well done. It's not they took the concept and went to 11, but they
yeah,
you're right. There's some money here. There's money for sets. There's money for costumes. There's money for this. And it
mm,
shows. You get it up on screen.
yeah,
So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. There's a TV series that is going to open in a week and a
mm,
half
yes,
that we're going to talk about in a minute.
hmm
Another release, but we can't talk about it right now. But watch for that. It's on Disney Plus. You may have heard of it. So we'll be talking about that in a minute. But there's still good stuff in theaters. We're going to be seeing movies coming up. It's all going to be great. I promise it's all going to be great. So go to the website, vsmoviepodcast.com. Get links to all of our reviews there. All of our social medias are there. Like us, follow us. You know how that works. Let us know how we're doing. And until we talk to you again, stay safe, be good. I'm Mark. That's Ryan. Bye, Ryan.
See you, folks.
And we'll talk to you later. Bye bye.